The original cartoon came out in 1937, and very evidently so. There's a big focus on her love story with a guy who literally stalks her.
Yeah.
Weird.
If I'm going to stand there 18 hours in a dress of an iconic Disney princess, I deserve to be paid for every hour that it is streamed online.
I was scared of the original cartoon. I think I watched it once and then I never picked it up again. Like, I'm being so serious. I watched it once and then I went on the ride in Disney World, which was called Snow White's Scary Adventures. Doesn't sound like something a little kid would like. Was terrified of it. Never revisited Snow White again. So I watched it for the first time in probably 16, 17 years when I was doing this film. It's no longer 1937, and we absolutely wrote a Snow White that is
not going to be saved by the prince.
She's not going to be saved by the prince, and she's not going to be dreaming about true love. She's dreaming about becoming the leader she knows she can be.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, the controversy surrounding Disney's woke Snow White remake simply does not stop. In fact, as we get closer to the release date of this film in 2024, somehow, some way, it gets worse. And as we know by now, it's happening for many, many reasons. Firstly, the dwarfs are no longer dwarfs. They're grown men and women. Oh wait, bar one, I believe. They actually managed to cast a dwarf in the Snow in the 7 dwarfs. Well done to you. And oh, by the way, if that wasn't bad enough, they're also called the magical creatures because the term dwarfs is just simply too offensive, even though calling somebody a creature doesn't sound too appealing now, does it? But the situation that is taking the headlines, of course, is the woman who Disney actually cast to play Snow White, Rachel Zegler. And Disney's casting choices throughout this whole thing have obviously been very controversial, simply backwards, and will never, ever make sense. Whoever went about and made all of these choices needs to be fired. But over time, it would simply blow over, right until the trailer or the film got released. Then there'd be more controversy, but it would blow over time. But the damage this actor has done in the short term and long term is worse than the casting choices themselves. That's insane. Her attitude and behavior, as the clips I showed you point towards, right, will follow her forever. That's going to stick with her throughout her whole career. How one manages to do that, I don't know. How you look worse than Disney is a huge achievement. It really is. But I also think there are many other things to think about here, and let me know if you agree or disagree with me, but maybe, just maybe, this is what the next generation of actors are going to sound like, right? Because as we know, the younger generation especially are being brought up on certain narratives, certain agendas. They're being told anything to do with being traditional is a negative thing. It's bad. And what goes hand in hand with being traditional? Well, how men traditionally used to be. They're being told now, of course, a man saving a woman, as we're seeing with this film, you know, and Rachel Zegler's attitude, is simply bad. It's terrible. And a woman falling in love, finding her true love, as they put it in these films, or just finding love in real life, is viewed as a negative thing. And women shouldn't be doing that. That undermines her. She's affecting her whole life. She needs to do what's best for her and her career and lead everybody. That's what Rachel Zegler's coming out and saying, right? Snow White's going to be a leader. This dynamic of making women more masculine and men more feminine has been pushed so heavily in all walks of life. And it's so sad to see, you know, because it's a negative thing for everybody in the long term. But everybody just thinks short term, don't they? I also think self-entitlement and me syndrome is a big part here. The younger generation are being brought up on those things. So obviously in time you're going to see actors coming out with this sort of language and acting in this sort of way. I've just never seen ever a young actor or an old actor come out and say they hate the original movie so much. I hate Snow White, anything to do with the character. We're rewriting this here. You know, it needs to be modern. The 1937 film? Nah, that's a bit weird. The prince is a stalker.
What?
But we have this new article that is making the rounds, and as I've alluded to throughout this video, the controversy, the backlash is getting worse, and I don't know how this film ever recovers, if I'm going to be honest with you. It's great to see though, right? It's great to see. The Daily Mail report, exclusive, branding experts warn Rachel Zegler's backlash could ruin Disney's big budget Snow White remake and predict executives will be having crisis talks in order to win back fans ahead of 2024 release. Rachel Zegler's comments about the upcoming live action Snow White remake could have a huge impact on ticket sales, branding experts have warned. I don't think you need to be a branding expert to see that one. The 22-year-old actress has received plenty of backlash after she admitted that she hated the original 1937 movie and branded the storyline weird, while referring to the prince character as a stalker. The big-budget Disney movie is scheduled for release in March 2024, and it now has been predicted that executives will be having crisis talks in order to do some serious damage limitation following the negative response to Rachel's stance. The backlash occurred after several videos of Rachel speaking negatively about the original film in various interviews last year resurfaced online, where she said her version of the character is not going to be saved by the prince and she's not going to be dreaming about true love because, you know, there's such terrible things to have in this world now. As well as being labelled a fake feminist, some critics accused Rachel of gaslighting, and one marketing consultant has warned that Disney will need to be careful with how they've portrayed Snow White. So yeah, even these branding experts, who I'm sure would be all for progressiveness being pushed into films, are sat there and they're saying, well, Disney, you need to calm down with this. Her stance on things is going to have a huge impact on the film. I've said beforehand, you know, and I genuinely do think this is going to be the worst performing Disney remake they have made and put out, and you know, most of them have been terrible, but this is going to be the worst of the worst in terms of sales and obviously the reaction to this online and in person. And I don't know again how they recover from this. They'd have to rewrite and recast the whole thing, which is going to take a lot of time. Again, as we know, you know, Hollywood writers are on strike, so it would take a few years to redo the whole thing, which is probably a good thing for everybody, actually. Scrap the whole thing and just redo it all, take a few years, move away from all this backlash. But if they did that, would Disney not be branded as the racist, the bigots? How dare they do such a thing? So they put themselves in the situation and they've only got themselves to blame. Speaking to DailyMail.com, branding expert Carla Spite said, while it's been clear that the original Disney princess films hold old values, Disney have fallen for the trap of going to the opposite extreme to inflict strong and loaded messaging on the viewers, believing that's empowerment. There was a time when Disney actors were media trained and were thoughtful about the impact of their words, while sticking to the key messaging about the film, but it seems with this total rewrite of Snow White, picturing her as a boss girl has gone to the heads of their stars. And this girl boss narrative is just one thing so many people are tired and frustrated of, as this backlash clearly shows everybody, because when you look at what it means to be a girl boss, and it's mainly used by the younger generations, well, again, Rachel Zegler, the younger generation, so, you know, maybe what I said earlier could be right, but the girl boss narrative is all about devaluing and discrediting a man, because you're telling these women, these girls, they don't need a man, they can do everything by themselves, so it removes men from society. And maybe, just maybe, once upon a time, you know, men would have gone along with it, young boys would have gone along with it, but we're going into the future now, and more people are waking up to certain things, and they're going in the opposite direction, and it's causing more division and more isolation. You can't expect to have no consequences when you're making men more feminine and women more masculine. I think it's done on purpose, and I think they know what they're doing, but the consequences are huge. And you see it a lot of the time in modern dating. I know it's going a bit off topic, but it all links. Men are becoming more lonely. Women are becoming more lonely. They can't find who they want because now they don't like anything to do with each other. It's almost like it's done on purpose. Who knows? But this controversy is destroying everything and everybody to do with the film. And at the core of it, at the end of it, there's only one thing you can really blame. Yes, Rachel Zegler does need to take a lot of accountability for her actions, but it is all Disney's fault. They're full of great ideas. Their track record really does hold up. But to close out this video, and I'm sure again many of you have seen this, we have another viral clip of Rachel Zegler that many people are talking about because people thought it was an apology for the Snow White backlash. Turns out it wasn't. It's a clip from many years ago where she's speaking about controversy she was involved in again, where she rubbed people up the wrong way for not being grateful for the opportunities she's been given. Seems like a key theme here, right? Take a listen.
Video is going to get taken out of context, and I know that at this point I can't really stop people from doing that because that's what my whole existence on the internet is just me being taken out of context and stuff, which is fine. That's what I signed up for, isn't it? But I never want it to come off as me being ungrateful for the opportunities I have when I say that this has been the biggest adjustment of my life, like understanding the way my life operates now, being who I am, and the things that I've been so fortunate to make. It comes with so much ground that I never thought I would be able to cover, and that people think I'm doing poorly, and other people think I'm doing gracefully, and I don't think I'm doing it at all. So when I tell you that it's hard. I just mean to be inside my brain. That's hard. And I'm there 24/7. I can't get out of it. And I don't know if that will make sense, but that's where I'm at. I'm so grateful for the things that I'm able to do. And a lot of what I'm able to do is because of you guys. I have a loving family, an incredible boyfriend that I love so much, beautiful friends and family, people that I miss. It's a privilege to miss people the way that I do, but it's hard. And it's lonely. It's very lonely. I just know that if that loneliness can exist, so can other things, and I will be okay. Maybe that's a weird takeaway.
Look, I know she made it all about her. It's me, 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 me. I didn't expect anything else when I saw this going viral, but it's clear to see she is very naive and hasn't surrounded herself with the best people from a very young age. We can only hope she can learn from this situation, and in the future, if she's cast for another film where it's supposed to be a white character, she doesn't come out and say, I completely despise the original movie. We're completely changing it. If you know, the more you think about it as well, okay, if you dislike the original movie so much, why would you audition for it in the very first place? Doesn't make sense. But leave your thoughts and opinions down below. Ladies and gentlemen, I want to hear them all. What do you think about Rachel Zegler? Do you think they should recast and rewrite the whole film, or do you think they should just go ahead with what they've got and suffer the consequences? I would like to know. If you have enjoyed today, please, for me, make sure to leave a like rating. If you're new, hit that subscribe button and turn on bell notifications so you never miss a video. But until next time, it has been your boy JD. Have a great day, stay safe, and I'm out. Peace.